Good evening, happy thinkers. Melissa here with WTF episode number 43. We are shooting live, and this is courtesy of thinkmefirst.com. Today's discussion is going to be about take the fear out of missing out and into a joy of missing out. So there's a lot of commotion going on, about the fear of missing out on things. So we start this as a little kid, maybe Christmas Eve when Santa's going to come and everything, and we can't sleep because we're afraid of missing something. So this starts when we're a little kid, but it continues into adulthood. We see the emails and the social media, and we even say it, sometimes we feel like we're going to miss out. The fear of missing out is so popular that it actually has its own acronym. I'm not sure if you've heard of the acronym FOMO, which is FOMO, or fear of missing out. And even though the fear of missing out seems pretty harmless, it actually could have some complications to it. Back before social media was around, we often would, talk by phone, or we would hear about events taking place on the radio or maybe flyers, and that's how we communicated to know of upcoming events. But now we have social media, and you can see your friends. Hi, Kelly. Kelly's with us this evening. Glad to see you, and thank you so much for that picture. She sent me a picture of my Labrador, which is no longer with us, but absolute doll baby, and Kelly was my neighbor for a while, so Cheech was the dog's name, would always visit her. So thanks for sending that. That made me smile. So we're just talking tonight about turning the fear of missing out into a joy of missing out, because a lot of people have that fear of missing out on things, and there could be some ramifications to that. So now we have the social media where we can see our friends and our family, and they're taking all these vacations. There may be new additions to the family, or maybe someone got married, and you're finding out about them on social media. So then what do? You start questioning yourself, well, why didn't I get invited, right? So then you're like, okay, well, maybe they don't like me. So then you start constructing all these stories that may or may not be true. But that's what happens. So then what happens to you? You start to check social media more frequently, right? So that you can stay updated and in the loop so you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. But this is why the fear of missing out should not be taken so lightly. These thoughts creep up on us, and then we start feeling anxiety or depression because of the fear of missing out. We all go through life, wanting to be accepted and to belong to something, and that's just human nature. That's just us. That's the way we function. As you start believing that your friends and your family are excluding you, and then you start to feel alone and isolated. So this is a perfect example of why you should not compare your life or your experiences to those of others. I know as a parent of 3 children, now 5, I had a lot of fears of missing out on certain things, like, having the perfect birthday party, if I couldn't be at the soda station because I'm sitting here lighting a birthday cake, I felt like I was going to miss out on things, or those perfect photo ops of homecoming and prom. If I wasn't able to get those, I had that fear of missing out on certain shots and, things like that. And I think every parent goes through that, especially as their children are growing, they want to document things. But, we had that fear of missing out, and a lot of that is just because we set those expectations. And Timmy's with us, and he has some kids, so maybe he can relate to this. This is about the fear of missing out, Timmy. Trying to get rid of that fear of missing out, because it really is a fear, even though you may not see it as a fear. But, so how do we want to deal with the fear of missing out? To overcome the fear of missing out, you want to understand the problem, okay? So usually the fear of missing out it's not really considered the issue. The issue that we need to address is actually why we are fearing this. The results of the fear of missing out, they need to be taken seriously, because again, you can get depressed, you can get anxiety, and all kinds of complications can start happening. But here's the key. If you accept that the fear of missing out is actually a fear, then you allow your mind to focus on the ways to address the issue. But if you believe that the fear of missing out is totally normal and acceptable, your mind shifts, and then you start seeing that the issue is your family and your friends, and they don't want anything to do with you. Does that make sense? So if you have the mindset that the fear of missing out is actually a fear, then you have the mindset to address that problem. But if you don't address that problem or have the mindset that it's a fear, it's just totally normal, then your issue is going to be totally different. It's going to be with family and friends, but is that really your issue? It's not. So again, then your thoughts, they just, you start getting thoughts that your friends and your family don't want to be around you, they don't like you, and then everything starts to go downhill from there. Take my parenting story as far as getting the perfect photos, because I didn't get Susie by the waterfall and everybody else did on homecoming night in their pretty dresses. Sometimes I felt like I failed as a parent because I wasn't getting that perfect picture or whatever. Did my kids care? No, they could care less, but it was a parent thing. And, sometimes that might be indirectly a competition, or, you want to brag about your kids just like everybody else is, or things like that. So it all goes back to don't set expectations and you're never disappointed. But here's the thing too, you need to know that reality is actually scripted. Reality is much simpler than you think. So let's take your friends and family, for example. They're on social media. Hi, Teresa. Nice to see you this evening. Glad you could catch us. And we're just talking about the fear of missing out. And I know you probably struggle with this sometimes. I do. We all do. So on social, so your friends and your family, they're posting on social media. But what do you think they're posting? They're actually posting highlights of their family moments or those precious things. Hardly ever do you see people highlighting their negative moments. No, you don't. And so again, these are just scripted. It's not life in general. But we don't fear missing out on negative events. So think about it. The last time you took a photo that you wanted to post on Facebook, how many times did you take that selfie, right? Okay. And then how many times, I bet you photoshopped it or put some filters on it, with some cute little sunglasses or some dollar signs for your eyes or anything like that, just to shape it up a little bit. It's not reality, right? So, and then what happens after that is you start checking your likes. You want to see how many people like your post. And it's highly, highly likely that your friends and your family live a better life than you, okay? And so this is another reason that the fear of missing out brings unhappiness. Think about it. When you're not happy with your life, what do? You go to social media, because then you see everybody else's life, and then you assume that everyone else's life is just so much better than yours. But again, they're all just highlighting their happy moments, and you can do that too. Social media is not reality. Okay, so now let's take a moment to realize that social media does not portray a true reality. Again, we kind of just went over it. It highlights your life or your lifestyle. But, we make social media what we want it to be, okay? So some people, hi Robin, glad to see you this evening. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you for a moment, so hope things are going well for you. Glad you joined us. So we're just talking about ways to get over the fear of missing out and just bringing joy to actually missing out. So we're talking about social media, and we kind of make it what we want. So some people will post nothing but accomplishments, but do you ever see them posting their fears? No, not really, unless your kid's on TikTok making a prank or something, but you have your epic fails or whatever. And then you have families that are posting all these happy family pictures and everything, but do you think their family is happy 100% of the time? No, and that's just reality. So why would you assume that everything and everyone on social media is all hunky-dory or great, right? So as stated before, some people post because they need to see these likes. And that's kind of sad because, they need affirmation from you to like their post. So that may be why they're posting. And then you have some people that are just influencers and are totally on social media just to make a buck. Doesn't mean their life's any happier than yours. So plain and simple, don't compare yourself to others in any way, shape, or form. You'll never fully understand the circumstances or any issues of the person that you're just sitting there thinking is having a great life. So here's another way you want to find joy in your life. So let's use our energy elsewhere. Start appreciating your life and how far you've come in your life. You might try by practicing mindfulness and meditation or mindfulness meditation. I have an article on mindfulness, and you can find it at thinkmefirst.com. And then I also have an episode 34 is on meditation, and you can find that at thinkmefirst.com or episode 34 on YouTube or within the group here. But basically, it's just a non-judgmental observation or awareness that is for you to focus on the present day or at the moment. Because the fear of missing out is directly associated with unhappiness. And that's when we start to then look for experiences to confirm our feelings, and then we start doubting ourselves. So when you change your mindset to the mindfulness meditation, then what happens is you start to focus on the present, and you start to focus on you. Not the present, not the past, but focus on the present and you. You don't pay attention to others. You're solely focused on enjoying yourself in the moment now. So the next one is to have proper judgment. So I'm going to share a little story with you. It kind of goes like this. So imagine you're in an older car and you drive past this new car and you look at it and like, gee, I wish I was driving the new car. But as you're driving by in your old car, there's a person on a bicycle who sees you driving your old car, and they're on a bicycle and they're like, gee, I wish I had that old car. But the person on the bicycle was seen by a person who was walking, and that walker said, gee, I wish I had a bike. And all while this is happening, there's a little kid inside his house in a wheelchair who said, I wish I could just walk. So think about that, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I wish. And, so just have the proper judgment. Accept the fact that you get to choose how you react to things, okay? So allow yourself to find joy in all of the situations now, no matter how small they are. How many of us were, when we were 12, we were hoping that we were 13, and then when we got to 13, then we were hoping we were 16. When we got to 16, we were hoping 21. When we were 21, I'm 47. You're not hoping to get to 47, right? So, think about how you feel now and don't wish away time, okay? Stay in the moment. So my final thoughts this evening is, a moment is all you have. One moment in the present, in the now. It's all you get. So allow yourself to enjoy it. Don't wish for more. Don't wish for less. Keep in mind when you're comparing yourselves to others, this is what people want others to see, okay? It's not everything that's happening to them. It's only what they want you to see. And it doesn't mean it's reality for them either. Therefore, don't allow yourself to fear missing out, because again, it causes unnecessary anxiety and depression. So again, the final thought is to just live your life happily and in the moment and in the now. Okay? All right, so if you like this material, feel free to stop by my website, which is thinkmefirst.com. And there you can also sign up for my email, which goes out twice a week. and it basically just gives you additional tips, tricks, and hacks, and I see hearts going up, and that just makes me happy. So I'm glad you guys enjoy the material. You can also find on my website now too, I do have my free course on, thank you Kelly, thank you for joining, it was nice to see you this evening. I have opened up my free course to Be Your Best Self. So if you go to my website, you can find that there. And thank you, Jill. Great message. Thanks. Great to see you this evening. I'm glad you could show up. And then you can also find me on YouTube. If you just type in the search bar Melissa Shim, it will show you all the WTF videos. So I think that's it. But anyways, I'm glad you all stopped by this evening, and to those that are watching later, I appreciate it. Love you guys, and I wish you the best. So everyone have a good evening, and I will see you later. Goodbye.